Alright, welcome back to our third episode of our playthrough of Prophecy of Pendor. Now, third time's the charm. We've done a bit more tweaking of the video and the audio. I think this should be a lot better now. From the testing we've done, I think we pretty much eliminated our lag. Still some, but compared to what we were getting, very little. And you should actually be able to hear me because it was still very quiet in the second one because I was trying to eliminate all the background noises getting in, but I decided to just sort of accept the fact that I was going to get some background noise so you could actually hear what I was saying. So cool. Anyway, what we did last episode, we won the tournament, got a few unique companions, and was able to invest in a productive enterprise. And that episode actually ran quite a bit over what I was aiming for, but it's okay. We got a lot of good stuff done. Well, that was close. That is why you shouldn't quick travel as early as I am. I am definitely being very risky and I'm doing it. Alright, Julia's got high agility, but what does she have? Surgery? DF's got spotting and pathfinding. What are his levels like? It's already quite high level. He could be our tracker. Pathfinding, spotting, tracking's only one, but they're pretty good. He's already a pretty high level, so we could just leave his strength and stuff for a while and just put it into in. Okay, so he'll be our tracker. Julia doesn't bring any skills to the top, but she's got a fairly high agility. Leslie's our charisma. Kavera, she's got high agility too. What's her looting for? Julia's looting is 1, so she won't be our agility hero. She can have our engineer stat. Yeah, she can have that. Cool. As always, we'll buff her up a little bit with some strength and stuff too, just to keep her, you know, fairly strong. We really want to find Anson though, because he's going to be our healer, and the most important to get levels in. It's also free, which is really nice. Alright, let's chill here for now. Where are the enemies? Over there. Alright, cool. Just let this guy come in. Kill him. Surprisingly easy as well. Charge him in. May as well. This guy's a weak. Just playing through on my other playthrough for testing the quality. And I've got one of the best Noldor horses and stuff. Fairly advanced in that playthrough. This is so slow compared to that. Feels weird. It'll be good. It's nice to start a fresh playthrough. It's a bit more of a challenge, and yeah, like I said before, I wasn't really happy with where that one was going. Like, I missed out on some really good opportunities for Qualis gems that I really shouldn't have missed out on, because I forgot certain things to be patched. Like, you couldn't bait them into the Noldor unique spawns anymore. I forgot about that, and I was like, how come they keep escaping? I thought it was just because they happened to be escaping, but it's because they actually patched it, because they considered it a what's it called? Not a bug, but taking advantage of the system, which is fair enough. The Noldor unique spawns are probably too strong to be able to use to farm Qualis gems. Yeah, I mean, I think the Noldor like patrols still work from what I understand. It's just the unique spawns, but at the same time, I'd prefer to just sort of bait them into other lords and stuff if possible, because you know that's definitely going to work. Yeah, it's kind of smart, especially with the Qualis gem. You want to eliminate as many possibilities for them to escape as possible, because you invest a lot into taking them out. So if you take them out, take that many losses, you kind of want to return on that. Kinda. It's possibly the most frustrating thing when they escape in the entire game. Okay. So I was gonna join the Empire, that's right. I need to make peace with them, which means I need about King Ulrich, Jesus. At least another 5 or 6k, I think. How much do they hate me? They hate me 10. Same as Ravenstone. Yeah, it's about 10 grand from memory. Jeez, I probably shouldn't have done this recording just as it starts to rain heavily and with the gain turned up. But that's fine, it's fine. I'm still learning how to do it, so it'd be good to see the effects of that on the audio later. Hope you guys don't mind the technical difficulties, as I've lovingly dubbed them. I am still just starting out, so each video has been a massive improvement on the last though. Ooh, Wolfbode, nice. He's like the most guaranteed course gem you can get in the game. And to be honest, I might even try bait him because it's my Prisoner Management 4. It's not that bad considering how early it is. And it is on good campaign difficulty. So the Ravenston Lords, which are hostile to me, of course. Never mind. I'm not going to try and do anything with him. Hopefully they don't take him out too early. I need to join my faction. I need more gold to do that. Alright, let's just focus on that for now. I'll try and find a tournament, because that's 20k, and that's definitely enough for me to make peace with them. So I'll try and find a tournament. I still want a few more unique companions like Anson, for example. I want to start leveling them up as soon as possible. And I do want him for his healing abilities. Well, he doesn't have any when you meet him, but he is, in my opinion, in this side of the companion tree. Because there's a whole bunch of companions, but they don't all get along, and there's actually a really good Venn diagram online that perfectly explains which ones get along with which ones. And it's, well, sorry, not a Venn diagram, it's actually a large circle and a small circle on the inside, and it shows you which ones like which ones and which ones dislike which ones. It's really good. I might actually find it and post a link to it in the description of this video because it's really handy. I've got the one that I usually go pretty much memorized, and by distinction the opposite memorized, because it's just the ones that those are not. Yeah, so I know which ones like each other. So as I'm going through, I just pick them up, but I only know that because I did it a bunch of times and I studied that diagram. So I will post that link in the description at the end, because that's super useful. Like, yeah, you want to know which ones like each other, because that will determine who you actually have in your party. And you got to sort of pick based on what their skills are and attributes and stuff when you get them, what you're going to do with them. You want to have at least one tracker who has spotting, tracking, and pathfinding. You want to have at least one surgeon who has wound treatment, surgery, and first aid. You want to have one with engineer, unless you're happy to take that on yourself, which with some of these you're going to want to take on yourself anyway, so that you've got the boost per se. No, it's not 11. The boost for like the 10 plus the 10, which equals 14, which I was explaining in the last video. So you want to have, for example, your surgery skills. You want to have a companion that does them, but you also want to put them on your guy. You just sort of got to decide when it's worth investing on your guy, and definitely get on a companion, hopefully fairly early at least, like half decently early, because healing is so important. tracking as well, you definitely want a character fairly early who can spot, track, and have pathfinding, because that increases your spotting distance on the map, increases the speed at which you move on the map, and it also increases how efficient your tracking abilities are, and that you can see details about parties, where they've been going, how long ago, and which direction they're heading in, which is, as you can imagine, incredibly useful. Ethos, damn it, I can't go there yet. Okay, cool. I might go to the Dashar lands though, so I'm closer. As I want to join the Bacchus Empire fairly soon. I can't remember if they removed it in this mod or not. I know you used to be able to back in the day, but if I can, I might even join them as a mercenary first, although because I picked what I picked, I may have too much renown and they might only want a lord or nothing. Okay. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, okay, these guys, I was talking about them a bit. The Knights of the Eventide and the Eventide Guildsmen, obviously a knighthood order. They spawn hostile to you, -40, so very hard to get them on your side. They are heretics. They say they're not, but they're lying. It's literally part of the law. They are heretics, so they're pretty cool. Like, you have to put a lot of effort to win them over to your side, and to actually, you know, sort of use them or whatever, and spread them around and stuff, is considered like a bad thing to do. You know, for example, if you're building their knighthood orders in different castles and towns or whatever, you'll get negative relations with like the more pure knighthood orders and stuff, and they're also hostile. They're not really hostile to any of the factions, but they're hostile to some of the more neutral minor factions that are more pure. For example, Falling Knight Adventures. It's probably Wind Riders. Yeah, see, for me that's very hard. Like, I want the Wind Riders to be on my side and the Singalians, so I'll probably just have to leave them to their own devices, because both of them are valuable allies to have. So it's better in those situations just to not join the fight. As much as it's good to fight, pretty much as possible within, you know, within the realm of what is realistic. Like, if you take a fight that you're definitely going to lose for the sake of fighting more, then yeah, don't expect to do well. But like, the more you fight, the more experience you get, and the more experience your unique companions get, and also any soldiers that you happen to have. New, although definitely later on, but right now, definitely not. Okay. I keep thinking in my other playthrough and I need lots of food, but I don't at all. Okay, cool. Let's try and find some weaker parties or something. Anything? No. See if there's any more tournaments that I can actually get to. Still just Ethos. I could try and sneak in, but I'm still kind of weak. Not super strong, and you don't have any of your equipment when you sneak in. So I don't know how much I want to risk that. You don't lose a lot on a sneak in if you foul. They patched it. Ooh, Aldurian. Nice. That's one of the strongest armies in the entire game. It's the Noldor, one of the two unique Noldor spawns. So speaking about the Noldor, basically like, think Lord of the Rings elves. Yeah, I guess, except even more OP, because like Lord of the Rings elves are very, very strong. Elves in general, like most things that have elves, they're quite strong in. But like, these guys are probably even stronger than most things elves. Like, they are ridiculously strong at range. As you can imagine, they're all bowmen. they are ridiculously good in the melee as well. All of their gear is top tier, like way super top tier. Almost said top gear. Like this is generally the kind of shit that you want to be using late game as well. Sorry, excuse me, I haven't had much sleep, so talking is actually kind of hard right now. But I wanted to bust out an episode, and I thought I'd gotten it to the point where, you know, the quality is going to be half decent, so I was pretty keen. It took priority over sleep, let's just put it that way. Oh dear. Alright, let's go. Right, I've got a half decent land, so I might actually use that. Bit slow, to be honest. This horse isn't very fast and my riding's pretty low still. I've got a few companions that can actually just exchange blows now. Like they're half decent at melee. Still got some like Leslie that just keep getting knocked out, but that's fine. They are still very, very early on and quite weak. So that's fine. Don't expect them to be great yet. That will come in time. They will become ridiculously strong, my unique companions. As will I. That's something I'm looking forward to. Like I said, I do like a fresh start. It's fun, it's interesting, you know, it's chaotic again. But I'm definitely looking forward to going back to killing at least 100 guys on my own every single fight. In field and even more in a siege, because it's easier in a siege. Or at least when you know what you're doing. And I like to think I've refined my siege strategies pretty well over the years. Especially if you know what kind of garrisons and stuff to expect. You know what the faction is and how strong they've been lately. Okay, this is the only thing that I don't like about the patch to horse archers. Like I really like it in terms of how it's balanced the game. The Dashar were way too weak. The Singalian, like these guys, always had a lot of potential but never really went anywhere. Sorry, these are Dashar bandits, but they have a similar fighting style. Oops, that was terrible. Again, incredibly tired, don't judge me too much. They just had so much potential and so many skills. Like they were quite expensive with how strong their units were, with how many skills and what equipment they used and stuff. So you'd spend a lot of money on them, but then they would just, with their bows and arrows, run straight into the enemy, charge them willy-nilly, and end up just pulling out their melee weapons, not use their ranged weapons at all. And I was like, what was the point of having cavalry archers? So that's great. It definitely needed that balance. And they're scary now. They're almost too strong. Like, I've run a few armies. Oh shit. Oh no, it's fine. Okay, I thought they were knights that were hostile. I've run a few test armies. In my other playthrough, I had an army that was just Sarleon cavalry, which is a new unit in this most recent patch for Sarleon, which is really good. I think they definitely needed a horse unit below the knight status, so like cheaper, so easier to maintain an army of them, but also still half decent. And they've got pretty good armor, pretty good horses. They've got a mixture of lances, swords, morning stars, shields. Like they are very useful units, and for how much value you get out of them in the field, they're quite cheap, especially when you get a high leadership. So that's really good for them. I thought they needed that, especially where they are on the map. They struggle a lot right in the middle. Ow. Okay, 18 damage. That's what I mean about cavalry archers. I like that they got buffed, but at the same time it's so annoying. So I ran an army of the Sarleon cavalry, about a third of the army I reckon, and bearing in mind that at this point I was able to field at least 250 soldiers in my army, 250, maybe almost 300, so a pretty big army. Shit, 20 damage. This is bad. I'm actually struggling here. This might be my first lost battle. These cavalry archers, I should have known better than to be fighting cavalry archers. It's done at this level. So I had like, geez, what's a third of 250? We'll round it to 300. I think it was closer to 250. Oh, they've got Omen Seekers, that's why. It's probably this guy that's been doing all the damage to me. It's a good unit. So a third of 300, obviously being about 100, might have even been closer to like 70 or 80 that I realistically had. But we'll say 100 because I'm really bad at math and that makes it easier for me. And then 2/3 Deshar Ghazi Stalkers. And if you know anything about the recent patch and how good the Ghazi Stalkers are now, you'll understand that this army was ridiculously overpowered. Especially because I turn up the battle size and I have good leadership and good tactics. So I was able to field a lot of those guys at once. So you can imagine 100 Salion cavalry with lances, heavy armor, good horses, you know, all melee weapons, backed up by 200 of some of the best cavalry archers in the game. Also mixed in some, you know, unique knights and stuff at the front lines just to be really tanky and high damaging to lead the Salion cavalry charge. Like I had some Griffin knights and stuff, like some real good units. Plus my companions are built as cavalry archers with good melee equipment and armor, so, you know, I just couldn't lose a fight. Nothing could beat me. It was ridiculous. Incredibly expensive to field that army and maintain. Definitely, I mean, ridiculous. Like they have put a massive multiplier on the rent costs for your cavalry archers just because of how strong they are now, which is fair. Yeah, they were so strong that, to be honest, it was worth it. Especially when you could just go around the field mopping up lords and unique spawns by baiting them into lords and stuff, and selling off any captives and stuff that you got, and any good equipment and shit would just balance out the extra costs, plus, you know, the money over time you're making from your whatever land you own and your productive enterprises. So even though they were expensive to maintain, it ended up being fairly feasible, almost even easy to maintain them. And nothing could kill me. I was unstoppable. I hate that. I don't know. I'm really OCD. I hate selecting them. I just want to sell them all as a group. Yeah. I'm not so good in a siege. As you can imagine, the cavalry lost almost all their value because some of them have lances and stuff, which is almost useless on foot. And their equipment is also longer weapons, more suited to cavalry back, not the short, faster weapons that are better for sieges. I need to just get some health back, so I might even just, yeah, I may as well just pay. It's only 2 dinars a night, and wait for some time. Yeah, so like in a siege, not so good. Your cavalry archers are still pretty useful. They have smaller quivers than foot archers, which is a bit annoying, because obviously, you know, you've got less ammunition to work with. But at the same time, they're still really strong archers that you could set up at a distance to whittle down the garrison for attacking and obviously defending. If you don't know it, in this mod, like quite a few of the other mods, your ammunition gets refilled when you defend, so you definitely can use that as a viable strategy. A lot of archers defending with a strong core of infantry that just sort of tank whatever damage that can be tanked, and just try and keep those infantry alive and have heaps of archers backing them up doing ridiculous damage from a distance, and hopefully using your archers to have that range supremacy focus your own shots on only ranged units. Like, go for their archers 100% with your shots to minimize how much ranged damage you have to deal with, and then just watch your archers slaughter 4 to 5 times their own number without even being touched. Tends to be the way to go on sieges, especially on a difficult mod where you do need to assume that each siege is going to be an incredibly difficult one, because they will be. Because this is hard. this mod is incredibly hard, and not even just to take land, but to hold it as well is very difficult. Like, any garrison under 600-700 units is targeted fairly frequently. You know, they do it based on numbers, so something to bear in mind. Something you really have to know if you want to take your Mountain Blade experience, especially in these harder mods, to the next level, is most of the mods do it by number of troops in the garrison in terms of how likely an enemy lord is to attack them. Now, there's obviously other factors like location, how good the city is, and all that. I think location's more important. I don't quite factor in how good the city is as well as human player can, because they don't quite factor the Knighthood Order units and stuff properly, you know, because that is a really good asset to have, but they don't really, you know, pick up on that. They're not quite like, oh yeah, awesome, Knights of the Lion here, let's go take Sarleon. That's going to be a huge bonus to us, even though it will be a huge bonus to them. They kind of just go, oh yeah, Sarleon, it's economically strong, has good trade, it's good location for us to move to next, let's take it. The Knighthood Order, I think, get factored into some degree, but just not that much, considering how useful they actually are. Okay, do we keep getting wound treatment? I think it might be a good idea, although I'm kind of keen to save it again for these ones. Yeah, no, I might save it, because I want to focus on, because I messed up my Colossus Gems last playthrough. That was the biggest difference between, ooh, actually, I might even try and free these guys. That was the biggest difference in where I was and where I wanted to be in my last playthrough. I didn't get enough of the Colossus Gems that I should have. Bearing in mind that there's technically infinite Colossus Gems as long as you choose the Colossus Gem option from the unique spawns. Where are they? Over here? No, over here. Yeah, like there's some unique spawns where you can choose to take the unique weapon from the leader of the spawn, and the weapons will always be really good, but for example, Alderian, I took her bow, but she never spawns again after that because it's a unique weapon. Also, the secrets of their unique equipment, which means you can train your Knighthood Order units to use it. I'll get into that later though. Anyway, so what I'm doing now, I noticed there were 2 lords held captive here, and you probably would have done this kind of quest before in vanilla. You want to take out the prison guard, but take the keys from him and kill him and free them. Now, one of the main reasons you want to do it in this one is because you get honor for doing it and relations with the lords, which is incredibly important. Again, stressing how important honor is in this for the Knighthood Orders later. So you want to say, I want to speak with a prisoner. You need to get permission from the Lord to talk to prisoners. Fair enough. But come on, man. I thought you were the boss here. You're the prison guard. Haha, yeah. You know, he talks a bit of shit like, well, you know, I am the prison guard, but yeah, you're not getting in there. It's like, okay, whatever. And then, alright, I'll leave now. I give you this 100 dinars. Nah. So you can talk to them, but you can't free them. If you do that, not worth it. Give me the keys to the cell now. And just bearing in mind that as soon as you say this, he will try to kill you, and so will all the other guards in the city. So you click this, you kill him. As soon as he dies, you automatically get the keys. So don't look for them, just kill him and then go through the door. Because the guards in the city will just respawn when you come out again. So there's no point killing them all the first time, just the second time. So do that. Have your weapon out as you talk to him, so you can just start swinging straight away. And I want to save these guys. So I've come to get you out of here. If you save this one, they won't try to break out. Thank the heavens, I don't know how long it could have lasted in here. Oh, good mate, got you back. Now, there's two options to go with. Or this one, again, they won't join you and you won't get anything. You'll just fight your way out for no benefit. Now, you keep well behind me and try to stay out of the fighting. And I'll need you to grab a weapon and help me. Now, they both have their upsides, but you really should go with the top one. And the reason being is that they will stay at the door where you free them from, and they won't proceed out. Because if they get KO'd in this fight, you don't rescue them, they just stay in the dungeon. And it's not worth risking that, because it's much more likely that you, assuming you know what you're doing, are going to survive, kill all the guards, not getting KO'd. Especially in a city, it's actually quite easy to do them in the towns. The castles are harder. So you want to go keep well behind me, stay out of the fighting. And the same thing for the other guy. They'll both stand at the door. If they have ranged weapons, they'll use them at range, which is really good as well. Like these guys often have throwing weapons, the Empire Lords. But yeah, so they'll just chill here. And I will go kill all the guards on my own. Now the guards only spawn at certain choke points, like the doors and stuff, especially in the towns. Castles is a bit different again, and these guys look so cool. They really patched this and updated the armor very well. So as soon as they go out here, I'm sure there'll be a few guards try to kill me. Yep. And again, this might seem like the riskier way of doing it, but if the lords get KO'd, then there was literally no point to doing this. And it's more likely that that will happen, then I will get taken out. And if I get taken out, then it's not like you lose a battle. They can't loot all your shit. They just take some of your gold, hold you prisoner for a day or two, and then free you. And it's like they literally like just put you straight back into your party. They don't even, you know, like they don't take any of your shit. You don't lose your army like you do when you lose a fight, for real. Your unique companions stay with you, no reset of any kind, so it's 100% worth the risk. The only thing you lose is some gold and your health needs to regen. And then, now, because I'm hostile with the Empire, I can now take them prisoner and ransom them, but definitely not going to do that. Also, this will lower my negatives, so it'll be cheaper to make peace with them when I get to it. In fact, that may have made it cheap enough that I can do it with what gold I have now. So all part of the master strategy. In fact, that's definitely enough. But I'm gonna go make peace with the Empire and see if I can join them. I kind of want to be a mercenary, but I feel like it'll be Lord or nothing, because I won't have as much obligation to them. I won't need to worry about owning a village, which will get me money, but at the moment, especially early, is more of an investment. Better sell these prisoners than actually making me heaps of money, because you need to invest money in it for it to turn over more money, which is only worth doing if you're going to be using that fief for a while. But yeah, this is about half an hour in, I'd say. So after we join the Empire, or sorry, I should say make peace. Undead army. Okay, cool. Oof, okay, that's scary. I'll end the episode off there. Now the trick is making peace with them without just getting absolutely slaughtered. They're fighting the Dashar, and that's 82 Dashar versus 791 Empire. So I think the Empire's going to win. There's a few Empire Lords in there that I actually am not super scared of. Kairos Darks, 50, I could maybe, if I had to fight him, win, maybe. Because when you make peace, you have to go talk to them. But the thing is, if you approach them and they approach you as a hostile entity to you, instead of defaulting to you talking to them, it defaults to them trying to fight you. And because you're hostile, unless you have relations with that specific lord, it doesn't matter what you say, they'll fight you. And even though I could maybe fight some of the weaker ones, it would be hard. Like, yeah, especially with those crossbowmen. No, I don't think I'd be able to pull it off. If they were only infantry, maybe, or even just cavalry, I could maybe do. Rimask. Actually, although no, that'd give me negative relations with the Empire. That's exactly what I'm trying to avoid. I actually tend to find it's easiest if there's one that's in a castle and you can approach the castle. Oh yes, that's perfect. And request a meeting. Various legatus. There we go. So he comes out non-hostile. He comes out to meet and speak. So you have this option. I wish to make peace with the Bacchus Empire. 5,000. See what I mean? Just for 6 relations, 5,000. Alright, cool. And now we can meet with him again and go, I would like to ask you something. What are you and your men doing? Resting. Hire a company of mercenaries. Perfect. Yes. As you wish, your enemies are our enemies. Perfect. Alright, cool. So Ravenstern now is 0 instead of negative. Sarleon is 0 instead of negative. I lost my positive that I had with the Fierds vein. I am now negative with the Shah because we're at war with them. But I'm also positive with the Empire and neutral everyone. Plus when we make peace, that will just go back to neutral. Alright, cool. So that's pretty much it. The only thing you need to know about being a mercenary company, if you don't know, if you haven't done this before, is that they will pay you a weekly, where is it? It's reports, weekly budget. Mercenary payment 200. So that's not a lot. It's really not a lot. And because we're at war, I lost this because we're fighting them, which is annoying because that would actually be more than this. But when we're at peace with them, that will obviously be more. It covers my wages and actually gives me a little bit more, so that's kind of nice. But more than anything, it means that I get to get all those relations with the factions to neutral, and just start working on my relations with the Bacchus Empire. Might even be able to take Reliqueep. You know, it's already been taken by the Deshah, so I might even be able to get a castle fairly early into the game. If I can work it into my plan though. But we'll see how we go. Anyway, I'm going to end it off there. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. I hope you appreciated the video, and hopefully the quality was much better than it has been previously. Again, I do apologize, but I think third time's the charm. I think that one came out alright. Okay, until next time.